I'll start. Within the Muay Thai fraternity, I've been at Channel 7. I worked there with Teddy for 2 years. It's a great stadium to work at. We were up on a sky booth looking down over the ring, and the crowd obviously is outside in there, but you can feel the atmosphere. 4,000 people turn up every Sunday for that show. Biggest televised show nationwide at the time.
And you can feel their energy even though we're behind glass and we're in the sky booth. You can feel that energy there. You can feel the love for the sport there. I think they do have the foreigner fans that come in, but I think if there is 4,000 people there, 3,800 are there every single week. These people know the fighters and they just absolutely love the sport, and you can really feed off that energy. It's great. As far as Raja goes, that is the most electric that I've ever been a part of. When that's packed, forget about it. And then they just started putting these new like Coca-Cola adverts, and then the bettors will lean over and bang it, and it just echoes through the stadium, and it just gives more energy to everybody. The fighters, the crowd, the atmosphere is just, I mean, you get goosebumps, you get chills from it. There's no better place. Lumpinee lost it when they moved, to tell you the truth, so they get a lot of tourists there and stuff, and then of course the bettors are there. Sometimes Lumpinee can get that type of an atmosphere, but I really don't see it anymore since they moved out of the city. But Raja, forget about it.
Yeah, I also work at WP. Well, that's within a studio, so it's more like they're bringing a crowd. Really, it's the trainers, the fighters, a few select people who come to see the fight, and a bit of a crowd. So if the crowd isn't there, you can almost hear everybody talking. You can hear the pin drop, and it's a private setting, which is nice as well.
But also for Raja is when you walk in like a fighter through the back, you start to feel that, and you see everything from the back, not from the front, and that gets me into the mode of commentary. Like, this is it, this is real, this is it. The fighters are there, everyone's there, you're through the back, the offices are there, the owners are saying hi to you, and that just gets you real pumped and gets you into it.
Okay, differences between commentating between boxing and Muay Thai. Obviously different sports. For me, I know Western boxing deeper. I've trained, I fought as an amateur when I was younger. I know the sport through the history. So when I move over to doing the Muay Thai fights, I'm not 100% exactly what I'm looking for with the aesthetics and sometimes how things are scored. So maybe I'm looking at more from a boxing point of view as opposed to a Muay Thai point of view, but equally as exciting, for sure.
For me, the big difference is most Muay Thai, rounds 1 and 2, they start to build their game plan, they start to take it slow, they're throwing feints, they're seeing what the other fighter's reacting to, and then building it up for what I call the money round in round 3, when it really comes to fruition, when it really comes together. Where in boxing, they can just take it right from round 1, really.
That's an excellent point, and that's where, when I first moved over, I found it quite hard in rounds 1 and 2. It's like, there's nothing to talk about, there's nothing to... until I understood the game a little bit better, and then you gradually get into the role.
There is things happening in round 1 and 2, but it's more of a cerebral game in that sense. And boxers, they tend to just get out there and just start letting it fly.
What do we look for when we commentate? Look for to tell the action as it's going. I mean, we have to work as a team together as well, and although we both get excited and we want to talk about something, we can't talk over each other. So you watch the fight, you tell the story of the fight. If there's lulls in the action, you can talk about the strategies, what fighter A or B should or shouldn't be doing. When the action's actually on top of you, you just have to call it. And sometimes you get emotional and you get drawn into it, especially when a big shot lands, knockout happens, it's what? You get really involved in it. And when 2 of you are on there, you have to be careful about that. But generally, you've got to do the play-by-play of the fight. That's my role anyway, and I'll work as an analyst sometimes, so I'll be asked, what do you think happened here, what do you think happened there? Teddy.
So when I first got into it, I would look kind of at one fighter, whoever was necessarily like doing better. I tended to like lock in on that person and not see what the other fighter was doing. Thank God I was lucky enough to get taken under Kevin Noon's wing early in my career, and he started my career. It's why I'm a Muay Thai commentator. But what he told me to do was like just step back, take a look at the corners. Take a look at the referees. Take a look at the audience. Take a look at all of it in one. And I know maybe that's a bad answer. People are like, I don't get it or something, but that's what I look at. I literally look at everything now. But it's because Kevin Noon was able to teach me, like, all right, this fight, just look at their feet. Or he'd be, shut up and just look at their feet. Or this fight, see what the ref's doing. Or this fight doing that. And I was able to build it. So now I'm able to look at all aspects of it. And I love every minute of it. And you can take it all in. I mean, your brain just knows what you need to do eventually, and it just kind of just starts working the way you want it to work, I guess, if that makes sense. So now I'm looking at all of it, man. I'm looking at every little aspect of it, the corners, the crowds, the grandmas, the kids, like everything that's going on.
I've got to add, same person took me under their wing, trained me, drilled me, moved me up, and hopefully.
Yep. I used to just look at the action, and then that's why I would get the decisions wrong. I'd be like, that guy won. And it was just like, then all of a sudden you look back on it and you look at all the other things, the shoulder rolls, the defenses, the way that someone's moving around the ring, the way that they're controlling the fight, all these things I never saw before. And then thanks to Kevin, now I actually can say I look at everything.
It's hard though when someone expects you as the commentator to give a round by round the same as the judges. Because we're not looking at the same thing as the judges. The judges are looking for one thing specifically. They're just controlling, watching everything. They haven't got to think about entertaining. They haven't got to think about giving you the delivery. So we can get caught up in a conversation or we can miss something. We're getting caught up in watching a fighter, what they're doing and what they're not doing. And not thinking about the full round to score. So at the end, oh, who won that round, Joe? It's like,
no idea.
You know, we may not be taking it in 100% as a judge does.
Yep. Teddy Mulvagh, Teddy Mulvagh on all social media platforms. I usually just do Instagram and then that throws it to Facebook, but you can catch me on Instagram or Facebook, Teddy Mulvagh.
Joseph Gwilt, really Instagram's the only one you can get me on, which is JRADHG73.
I'll make it any harder for anyone? Okay, cool.
Okay.
Yeah, all right, thanks a lot, man.
So I hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Please like, comment, subscribe, and share.